Hi, I'm Andrea Lilienfeld, owner and team leader of the K Grant Group with my home group here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I thought today it might be interesting for us to discuss the number one and number two questions I hear from friends and family every time we get together. And that's one, do you really think now is a good time for people to be selling their home if they have a low interest rate, sub 4, sub 3 interest rate? And number two, what are your thoughts on people buying right now with the interest rate so high? Do you think they're going to go down? Well, you may not like my answer, but the truth is it really makes a difference in your personal situation. So I thought maybe to help with that a little bit, I would share a personal experience of mine and my husband. Not that long ago, and by that I mean about 2-3 weeks ago, my husband and I decided to sell one of our investment properties. Our property was locked in with a 15-year mortgage and a 2.95% interest rate. So when we made this decision, a lot of our friends asked, "Why did you sell? I can't believe you sold with that low of an interest rate." Well, that goes back to what I said. Everybody's situation is different, and you have to look at your personal situation you're in. So for us, the property that we decided to sell, we had lived in for 2 of the last 5 years. Well, why does that matter? Well, it matters when you start looking at capital gains. If you've lived in a residence with it being your primary residence for 2 of the last 5 years, you don't have to pay capital gains tax. So for us, if we could personally sell this property before October of this year, it would be a huge tax savings because of our personal situation. That, coupled with the fact that the market's still up from when we purchased this property 4 or 5 years ago, meant that we were going to be able to realize a gain with the sale without, again, needing to pay those capital gains and without needing to go through the process of a 1031 exchange. So for us personally, in our situation, it made sense for us to sell right now, even though we were sitting in a position with a 2.95% interest rate, with a tenant in place on a 12-month lease that more than covered our mortgage. It still made sense for us. So we moved forward. We listed our property and we sold it. Now, once we sold that property, the next question everyone asked is, what are you going to do with those funds? Well, the great thing is, since we sold it within that 5-year period, we didn't have to decide right away what we were going to do with those funds. We weren't utilizing a 1031 exchange, and so we could sit and look, what should we do with these? What is the right property? And we could buy whenever the time is right. We didn't know if we were going to be making an offer on a place the next day. We didn't know if it would be a year from now. But again, everybody's situation's different. So we came across a great opportunity literally 2.5 weeks after we sold our condo. And we thought, wow, this is a great deal. Let's look into moving forward and purchasing this property. The first step of that process is always to go through the pre-qualification process. Making sure, 1, can you get a loan? 2, what are the terms of that loan? Going through this process, what we learned is we were going to be sitting at a 7.35% interest rate on our next purchase. At first, you might be shocked and you say, wait a second, you just went from a 2.95 to a 7.35 interest rate. Does this make sense? And the answer is yes. For us personally, this makes sense. We can purchase this property even though it's at a 7.35% interest rate, and we're going to be able to do some renovations in it, get it up and running as another long-term investment property, and be in a great position. So again, the interest rate isn't always what matters. It's your personal situation It's the property. There's a lot of factors you need to look into. But what I would like to recommend for everyone is if at any point you're starting to wonder or you're starting to ask yourself that question, is now the right time to buy with these interest rates? Or you're asking yourself, should I really be selling this property right now with where these interest rates are? Please consult a professional to have these conversations. I would love to be a resource for you. So reach out to me. Again, if you're starting to have any questions, wondering if now's the right time to buy, now's the right time to sell, every situation is different. And I'd love to discuss with you what your current situation is and help you decide if now is the right time or not. You can reach me, again, Andrea Lilienfeld with the K Grant Group, with my home group, at 480-387-3990. Thanks, and look forward to hearing from you.